Hello, everybody. You're very welcome back to your instant match reaction on, oh my God, Leeds United know how to do it the hard way. It was a very underwhelming performance, to say the least. Birmingham City probably did deserve it over the course of the game, but Leeds United dug in. We brought it to penalties, some brilliant penalties taken, and Leeds United progressed through to the fifth round of the FA Cup. So absolutely fantastic. Dillo, it was a nail-biting game. It really was. Probably shouldn't have went as far as it did, but we've got the job done, and for me, that's all that matters today.
Wembley. No, that's great. Them types of games where your team isn't performing well and you're looking for that star quality players like Calvert-Lewin coming on and Brendan Aronson, your first team players, and you're looking to make an impact, and it still seems to be, a hard game to kind of get through. But yet again, I'm not going to put it too much on the Leeds players. Yes, there was silly passes. I'm not going to name anyone out. But Birmingham were good, lads. I thought Birmingham were very good.
Yeah.
They controlled the game well. But we just dug in deep. And then like that, when it goes to penalties, it's like a lotto. It's either or. But my man there set the tone for all the rest of the boys. And the course has finally been lifted with Leeds when it goes to penalties. So yeah, look, as I said, it wasn't a great game, lads, but you know yourself, when you're in them types of slogs, you kind of just have to grind through it, and we did.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, their final chance, when he hit the post in the first half, we were lucky it would have been game over. So it's great to bounce back from that. We done it in penalties, and that's all that matters. And Leeds advanced to the next round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, as you said, it was like the starting lineup when you go back right to the very start. It was a very strong lineup that Daniel Farke went with. We wanted rotation. We got that. Probably thought Pirro should have started up front instead of Lucas Meche, if I'm honest. But look, it was a very strong lineup. And to be honest with you, Dylan, I don't think we performed well in that first half. It was all Birmingham. It was a fantastic save from Lucas Perry. Have to give him a bit of credit as well today, because it was a brilliant strike from Jay Stansfield. Perry gets his hand to it and claws it onto the post, and it should have been 1-0 Birmingham City. And he was good today. They had a lot of chances as well in that first half. And in the second half, I was hoping to see Leeds United come out a little bit more dominant and impose ourselves on the game. We didn't do that the first half. It was a really bad first half performance. The second half then as well, Dylan, there was times where we tried to move and tried to show up. But again, Birmingham, I thought they were really good, Dylan. I really do. They did not good opportunities in the game. And we went into the 1-0 lead, Dylan, probably against the run of play and probably a little bit undeservedly, I'm going to call it here. It's a great goal from Lucas Meche. Cuts inside, bullet shot, beats the goalkeeper at the near post, and you're hoping, right, that's exactly what Leeds United need now. We needed that moment in the game to try and open us up a little bit. But Birmingham just came straight back again, and just kept putting the pressure on Leeds United. And throughout the course of the 90 minutes, we didn't really show, any quality in the game. That's the disappointing thing.
Someone did actually put it in the comments. It looked like they were the Premier League team and we were the Championship. Yet again, with the squad rotation, these players haven't been getting minutes, so to expect them to come on. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not making excuses for them to be beating a good Birmingham side. It is difficult, but like one player in particular, I'm very disappointed with, and gladly, thank God we have him on loan, is Buonanotte. Very disappointed.
Yeah,
very disappointed in him.
Yeah.
But yet again, I think a few honourable mentions, I think it has to go to James Just and Gabby Gudmundsson, the two of them galloping up there all day. I thought James Just was absolutely phenomenal throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
But what you said there in the stream as well, I think you kind of have to give it to Ampadu. I think when he came on, he kind of injected that in midfield, broke up play. And, there was at times, there was one chance in particular where you could see Pirro and Meche. It was Meche. The ball was back with the keeper, and no one was kind of pressing the keeper. And next, you just see Ampadu coming out of nowhere to give the boys the uplift, and that's what you should expect from your captain.
I was going to go on to that, you're right. Go on, yeah, Ampadu for me.
I just think, as I said, there's a few honourable mentions there, but I just think Ampadu is really the heart in this team, and the more that, not that we complain about it, when he does have a bad game, regardless, Daniel Farke's putting him straight into the team. I think he's right, lads. I think he's right because he really is the heart and soul of this team. He uplifts these lads. They all get him. They all look up to him. He's a phenomenal captain. He's a phenomenal person.
Ampadu changed the game, Dylan. Ampadu changed the game. I think Borneo was in on TNT. Borneo was in for a shout for man of the match, which I'm not. I don't agree with, to be honest with you. Made a couple of good blocks in the game, but I just thought he was ropey at times. But Ethan Ampadu, for me, you said it, Dylan. He came on the second half, set the tone, dictated the game, upped us in midfield. The first half, they were bypassing us well too easy. Even when we were trying to attack, our midfield were just non-existent there in Tanaka and Longstaff, who were very poor, very poor in that first half. But Ethan Ampadu was brilliant, Dylan. And I thought Brendan Aronson came on and brought that little bit of energy to the game that we needed. And as you said, Dylan, for me, he was probably the standout player. It's probably disappointing in a way that we had to revert back to them first team and our starters, the likes of having to bring on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which when he did at the time and Leeds are 1-0 up, I'm shouting at Fark saying, we don't need him now. We're not losing the game. Why are we bringing Calvert-Lewin on in a game like this? And he ends up having to go on and play into extra time and that as well. But Dylan, the main thing is that we got the job done. I don't think any Leeds fan is going to be able to sit here tonight and go, that was a brilliant performance. It was poor. We were well below par. For the 120 minutes of that game, Birmingham, for me, were the better side and probably deserved to win. It goes to penalties and it's 50-50. And the main thing is now we're through. And you just never know, Dylan, in games like this, it could see us go on a run now. We get a decent draw at home, you could win that. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at quarterfinals, semi-finals, and, maybe Wembley on the horizon as well. So we've got through a very difficult game today. But I have to give all the credit to Birmingham today because I was very impressed with them, I have to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, going on this cup run now, it's also give the boys a bit of credit and confidence going forward in the league as well. To we can put it up to anyone, even though that wasn't a great game. And I agree with you. I think Birmingham were the standout performers, and they were unlucky not to win. But as you said, when it goes to penalties, it's like the lotto. Anyone can win.
Yeah.
But it's all about the first penalty that goes in for me, lads. I'm not because I'm a Pearl lover. I just mean when he walked up to that ball, he was like he's blooming this over the bar. He looked very, very, very nervous going up to that.
Yeah, he did.
And he slotted it away. So for him to do that, only gave them boys, right, well, if he'd done it, we're going to do it. It set the tone, and it's as simple as that. And all the boys stepped up and done what they needed to do. But other than that, the negative side of it for me is the worry now going forward when Daniel Fark brings out a press conference and tells us that the 6 lads out now injured because of the amount of game time that they're at again. And this is what I'm saying about rotation of squad, yes, don't get me wrong, but starting to involve players a bit more regularly because the likes of Longstaff there now played more or less the whole game. Borneo as well, I know he went off, but there was a few tackles there that looked a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 or 3 players out of this team today going forward now next week that are going to be out injured, and we can't afford anymore. We obviously Anton Stack being out as it is, Stroud. You're talking like DJ didn't travel today. I know he's back, but I mean, we can't afford it, lads. We simply cannot afford it. And
fingers crossed. The best thing is now that a week of recovery now. 6 days of recovery. It'll be a massive recovery day for him tomorrow. And as you said, hopefully no one is injured and they get ready, for Villa next week. The attention now immediately turns back to the league because there's still a job on there to do. We have our name in the hat for the next round, so now the attention turns back. Whoever we get. We'll worry about that when that comes up next. I want to pull up a couple of the comments here now as well, Dylan. So Richard Hogan says here, Tanaka is struggling to adapt this season. Can see why Newcastle let Longstaff go. With Longstaff, I don't think you can put him in the bracket of Tanaka. I think Longstaff definitely showed, his quality at the start of the season. He was, one of our best midfielders before he got injured. But I do agree with you with Tanaka. It's definitely a head scratch because he was so good last year for Leeds, and it's disappointing, Dylan. It's hurtful to see him going through this, isn't it? Because he's such a likable lad. He was, a fan favorite last year for Leeds United. But you can only judge by what you see with your eyes. And at the moment, Tanaka just seems way off it, lacking confidence, lacking quality. Finding it hard to get up to speed.
That's it. It is. It's worrying because, as you said, last season he was probably honourable, our best player, and everyone loved him, as you said, a fan favourite. He just seemed to be the one to get you out of jail all the time. He was calm on the ball. When the ball was being, we were under the caution, Tanaka was the one to kind of give you that bit of cover, and we wouldn't be all nervous when Tanaka was on the ball. So for him to be in and out and up and down at the minute is worrying. But what I'm solely disappointed on is the fact that he's been given the opportunity and he didn't take it. And for me now, yet again, he's going to be on the bench again for probably the next 2 to 3 weeks before he gets another opportunity to come on and potentially try fight for his place to go in. But like if you had told me towards the start of the season or even a few weeks ago that Gruev would start to be more of an impact in playing. We all said this, lads. There was loads of people at the start of the season saying about Gruev, he should be moved on or he's not going to get in and get a look in this team. And he's proven everyone wrong. So at the end of the day, it's all about competition. It's all about rotation. And I just want the boys to step up, especially them lads that played there today.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard Hogan says here, they actually even forgot about Okafor is going to be a worry, Dylan, because he was holding that hamstring. So, and regardless of if it's only a minor hamstring tear, you're probably talking 10 days to 2 weeks anyway. So you can more or less rule him out of the Villa game. Now, I don't think it was cramp because he was definitely holding it and struggling. So that obviously is a worry. And he was on a good vein of form as well, Dylan, wasn't he? 2 goals in 2 games. It looked like he was starting to get his season going. It's going to be an opportunity, Dylan, for someone else to come in and try and do a job now. Shane Dalton was at the game here today. He says Tanaka wasn't at the races today. I'm worried about him in the Prem also. And you can probably see why Fark hasn't been starting him, Dylan. A couple of weeks ago, there was a couple of Leeds fans getting on Fark's back, when we weren't particularly good at midfield, calling for Tanaka to come back in. But I think this has probably proved why that he's just not at it. And, we can't really take chances in the Premier League this season. We have to be picking players who are up and at it.
That's it. That's what it's all about, and this is what I'm saying about the players that are injured. You just say Stack if Longstaff is getting injured or Ambadou, you really need these boys to step up, and they're not stepping up at the minute, and that's the worry. That's the we're all going to look back at Daniel Fark. We're all going to look back at the board going, why didn't you recruit this player, that player? And you've pointed out there that we get on loan, that you're looking to get, he's looking to get his career back on the right path, and kind of grind out this to keep Leeds up in it. Great for the resume to keep Leeds up in the Premier League. And he gets his chance today, and every time I've seen him, he was giving the ball away.
Yeah,
very poor. Yeah. Very, not impressed whatsoever. And that's going to fall back on the 49ers and Daniel Fark. Moving on to the question I actually wanted to ask you, and I can't remember now because you threw me off. Oh, yeah, what did you think of Willie Nanto today?
Just wasn't in it, Dylan. Just, again, it wasn't in it, and I think, Willie Nanto is probably, for me, as long as I'm supporting Leeds, probably the most frustrating player because I know he has the quality there. And he just doesn't show it enough in times. He goes missing it in so many games. But again, I just don't think you can look at Willie Nanto and say him. I think you've mentioned it there, and it has been mentioned in the chat, Longstaff, Tanaka, Buenanotte. They were all off it today, Dylan, every one of them. It is it's disappointing because these are meant to be, your game changers, in the Premier League. The ones coming off the bench when the first teamers aren't doing it, and we've all been calling for, why isn't Nanto playing a bit more? Why isn't Tanaka playing a bit more? Longstaff should be getting in there. This just proves, what the manager is seeing, and we're seeing it today now with our own eyes. And he needs to be doing more, Dylan, Willie Nanto. And then you go to Pirro as well. Today is probably the game that you look at thinking he should be starting that game today for Leeds. A cup game away at Birmingham. He's used to playing against championship sides and championship football. Was hoping to see him start today, and he didn't. He gets on the last 15 minutes, but ends up playing the extra time and that as well. I don't think Daniel Farke is going to look back in this now. Having heard his post-match, he hasn't came on just yet. I don't think he's going to look back in this game, too happy or dwell too much on the performance of the game. I think he's just going to look back in that we've got our name in the hat for the next round, the 5th round of the FA Cup. And by hook or by crook, we've done it today. We've done it by playing very poorly, but we're there.
That's all that matters. I think it's, what people are saying, they're concentrating on the league now, but we're at the putting ourselves back in going advancing to the 5th round, and not that it's a worry, but we talked about this for a long time in Leeds' seasons about don't be worrying about a cup round, concentrate on the league, and eventually we're at that kind of crossroads now where we're like, well, we're in the Premier League, we do have a good squad, it does need to adapt, and we need a bit more cover in certain areas and quality as well. But when is it a time for us to turn around and go, no, go do a cup run? Is it now? Is it?
I think it's now. Dylan.
Is it a thing where Leeds now are looking, especially a lot of injuries start picking up, where now we're going to start dipping form in the league, and that's something with the upcoming fixtures with Villa, City, and West Ham. We don't want to be looking at our shoulder. We want to be looking up. We said this.
Yeah.
It's still always going to be a worry. So I'm not saying forget about the FA Cup. What I'm saying is I'm worried about the injuries.
Yeah, well, there's the attention just turns now, Dylan, back to it. And that's probably Fark as well. The likes of bringing on Calvert-Lewin, I thought it was far too early when you're 1-0 up in the game. Maybe try and bring Perot, and you don't risk it. But look, he's the manager, Dylan. He sees his players training and playing every single day. So it's we can all think something, but we don't. We don't see what they're doing on the pitch.
Yes.
Shane Dalton says here, lads look tired today. Final passes and decision making was poor. And I think that's probably perfectly put it. And that probably, describes Leeds United's performance today to an absolute T. I wasn't, you can single out Longstaff. You can talk about Tanaka. You can talk about whoever you want. I think that goes across the board for me today. There was some really poor decisions being made. There was countless times in the match where Pirro could have played a better ball through to Calvert-Lewin. Aronson should have released one to Sean Longstaff. There was a lot of times where we just weren't quite there. We just weren't quite tuned on. And the short 5-yard passing that you think that's the one we should be getting right. Again, just it wasn't there today. It was way off.
Is it a thing, though, Darren, you think, is it match sharpness? Is it not enough game time for these players, the likes of Longstaff, when not they?
Yeah.
Is it a thing where, I'm not trying to defend the boys, what I'm trying to say is, I'm a big believer on rotation, and if we're in a game in the Premier League against an opposition where we're losing and we're into the second half and still no subs being made, you're not going to expect these lads to come on if they're not getting enough game time, in the 70th minute for a half an hour, expecting them to tune up. And that's where, and I'm not sticking up for Tanaka because he's been up and down, but maybe we have to look at it from that side as well. Well, they're not getting enough game time to get up to match speed. You know yourself, they're playing at good quality. If you were out for 2-3 weeks, it takes a long time to get back up to speed. You know that. And look, you can only do so much on the training ground, is what I'm trying to say. An in-game match is completely different to training.
Richard Hogan says, first team players probably need to play in the next round, which means that we need to go about getting points we need sooner rather than later. I'm hoping for that as well. Now it's parked. For me, it's done. Your name's in the hat. You just look forward towards Villa now in the Premier League, and we'll kind of evaluate then whoever we get in the next round. Evening, lads. The game started in the afternoon for you, right? Perry was made good use from the start, and now we have to say he was okay with winning. Ugly hope squad remains intact. We have to talk about Lucas Perry because he was one coming into this game that I wouldn't say he's very good. Dylan, he was coming into this game. It was a bit of a worry around him. Starting his game for Leeds United since that Newcastle game. And he made a fantastic save from Jay Stansfield. That was goal bound, and it was a great save, it was. But there was a couple from corners, Dylan, again. He was flapping, and for a big lad like him, he's getting knocked over. So that's where the worries came from, which were at the start of the season, he was actually strong enough there. That seems to have gone a worry now as well from Leeds defending corners, that Perry doesn't seem to be very strong on goal. But then you look at the penalty shootout, it's a great save, isn't it, down to his right side.
It's the same errors that he's doing in game, as you said, flapping, some of his kicking as well. But yet again, is ball stopping in general. Like, he made definitely one good save, but I think he made one or two where they were good down nice and early. But yet again, I'm gonna go back and use the same excuse I'm saying for the other lads. It's simply down to match sharpness. It's something that he's carrying as these flaws that he seems can't shake. He's coming out flapping and in no man's land for looking to be tapped in, and that's something we're trying to get out of. We've seen it with Melier, so he needs to work that on his game. But yet again, he's another confidence player as well, is Perry, and a good save in the penalty shootout as well. So yet again, I'm not going to give him too much slack because he's coming back into this team trying to get back in to being a regular starter. But yet again, he does have a tough opponent in Carl Darlow, because yet again, I can't see Darlow doing anything major to kind of take him out of net at the minute for me. But a great way to more or less do your job in the penalty shootout to give you that confidence, because yet again, as I said, Perry is certainly a confidence player going forward. So
yeah. Voto says here, guys, sorry, but match fitness to be able to do the simple passes, I don't buy that. No, I agree with that as well. Like whatever about match sharpness, these are training and they're at the peak. They've got nutritionists and physios, and every single day their performances is monitored, their weight, their hydration, everything. They're the best of the best of the best. They train every single day. They should be able to make a simple 5-yard pass for me. So I totally agree with you then. Probably the all-round game and decision making when someone makes a run and you delay it that split second instead of playing and stuff like that, I would probably agree with. Needs to come up match sharpness. But the simple one, the 5-yard pass when no one's marking you, that's your bread and butter as a footballer, and that wasn't there today. Maybe came into this game.
When you're looking to drive forward and you have it on the edge of the
just playing it into someone's feet. Someone making a run. Yeah, kicking out play, just playing it into someone's run as well. Fun fact, Fagner for Birmingham assisted Brendan Aronson's first senior goal. Yeah, wish he assisted one for us today. Would love to see Tanaka in the Prem that we all saw in the Championship. Unfortunately, he's not getting much of a look in. So, yeah, can't blame his game today because he's not getting the game time. Yeah, look, I agree with that as well. But then, you know, he did start away at Brentford away and he wasn't particularly poor. I think Sunderland away, I think he came on in that game. He wasn't great. The cameo at Everton, he came on. He wasn't great as well. So there is opportunities there. And I think Fark's probably looking at it in a way is that, you know, he can't afford to be sentimental and stuff like this. If
Yes.
players are out there and they're doing the job, just because Tanaka's sitting on the bench and we all love him, do we just have to put him on? I don't think so. I think you have to make the best. So I think at the moment for me, Fark is making the best season. I don't think El Tanaka is.
Do you not think it's a good thing as well, though, Darren? You said this after the summer window. The summer window and after the January window. With that players that we have in midfield, I'm just using them as an excuse. There's so many with good quality and all different types of individual players. So it's a good thing for him to be thinking about as well, about certain players that do have to come into the team. But there does be a fine line and a fine margin where you look at it and go, I can't keep playing. Let's say Anton Stack, one, because now he's injured. We should be seeing the subs a little bit more early, but it's the same thing. It's never going to happen. We can keep, bringing it to attention, but just certain players like that, just to kind of get them back up to speed a little bit, because we know, you said it yourself there a few minutes ago, we know Willie Nanto has that going forward. It's not getting enough games on. We know Tanaka has. He's just been off form at the minute. So, for me, I just want more rotation. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for much. And stay up in the league.
I don't really care about rotation, Dylan. I think just stick with what we have. Stick to the players that are tried and tested and know this league, especially in the Premier League. That's what I'm at. Today was the day for rotation. Today was the day, the FA Cup 4th round away to Birmingham. Today was the day for rotation. Today was the day for Willie Nanto, El Tanaka, Sean Longstaff, Joe Pereira, for them players to step up and show we can be part of this first team. You know, when players are down, when, Stack is out injured, when Gruev is out injured, when whoever it may be, isn't up to speed, that we can come in and change this game. So today you look at all them players, they have to be doing more. I don't blame Daniel Fark. We all call for, every Leeds fan was all calling for online rotation. Don't care if we go out of the cup, don't want to see Calvert-Lewin there. We all wanted rotation going into this game. Daniel Fark has done that. So the onus then goes on to the players, where you go out there and you show me what you are made of and how you are going to get back into this starting 11 in the Premier League. And I can't pick one player. I cannot pick one player that deserves to, start next week against Aston Villa. I really don't. We have to go with our tried and trusted from what we've seen. But look, it is what it is. Dylan, you're a man of the match anyway today for Leeds United. Who would you say it was? Probably Slim Pickens, to be honest.
I think I'm going to have to give it to Ampadu. There is an honourable mention for James Justin, because I just thought he was absolutely brilliant today, in the sense of he was just everywhere when he did get the ball. He was looking to go forward every single time. He was great at his covering. Yet again, Darren, it's just every game that he's been playing, said anything bad about him, he's just been so consistent with his performances, and I think that's why maybe, I'm looking at him, but I'm going to give it to Ampadu because he was the one to inject the midfield to kind of get the tempo up. And then, as I said, there was no press. Press was non-existent. And as soon as he comes on, their keeper have the ball at the feet, and he's the one doing the pressing. Like, in other words, lads, get the finger out, let's go, sort of narrative. So, for me, Ampadu kind of dictated the game and changed the game for us, especially when he came on.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. Ampadu certainly my man of the match at that one. Unfortunate James Justin with the own goal, and Dylan, it was coming, wasn't it? It was. They were bombarding us every opportunity. They were getting in behind us. They missed a lot of opportunities, and of course, they get one from a deflected shot. Patrick Roberts was causing a bit of bother out on that right hand side. Cuts in, unleashes an unbelievable shot on his left foot. James Justin is trying to get his head to it, but unfortunately, he just pulls it even further away from Lucas Perry. And I said it in the watch along at the time, like, they deserved it, Dylan. They really did. They deserved to be ahead in the game. If we're honest with ourselves, and we had to dig deep down after that, then, Dylan, didn't we? Because it felt like when I went into extra time, like, Leeds could go and lose this.
It was looking that way. It certainly was. I was trying to had you on, and I had the match on, and to be honest with you, I was sweating, absolutely sweating, because it kind of had it written for us, didn't it? With Leeds being in an FA Cup, expecting to go out and tumbling out. And look, it could have likely happened. I think they were unlucky with their shot off the post as well. That was game over for us. But yet again, we stood our ground. I said we weren't great, but we stood our ground in the sense of we defended well in certain areas of the game. We didn't do great on attacking. We were unlucky for a few chances. You mentioned there Brendan Aronson, 1 or 2 passes. Pirro, I think, twice. With Calvert-Lewin, and I was screaming at the telly, to release, and Calvert-Lewin wasn't happy with that one either. So just these little fine margins that you need to be a bit more switched on. And, the little half a second sort of pass the release. So, look, we got the job done, lads. We are advancing to round 5 of the FA Cup, and that's all that matters. And, you know, the next couple of weeks we'll be
And
off to
well
Wembley, all drunk as skunks.
Yeah, come the end of May, we're off to Wembley. We know how that one ends. Thoughts on managerial changes at Spurs and Forest? Yeah, look, Spurs are just, Spurs, aren't they? Like, for me, they're just not a big club anymore. Fighting relegation the last 2 seasons, hiring, firing, all different types of managers. It's a bit of a mess down there. Nottingham Forest is one that I look at. You know, the first Premier League team ever to sack 3 managers in one season, onto the 4th now in Victor Pereira, which I don't think is a great appointment whatsoever. I think Forest are going to go. I really do. I think West Ham will get out, but I think Nottingham Forest are going to be the ones to go down. So hopefully Leeds United get themselves safe as soon as we possibly can. Dylan, look, we'll wrap it up there for the instant match reaction, because I've been sitting on this chair for probably about 27 years after that watch along, and penalties and absolutely. Me arse is killing me at this stage. Oh, that's going to get clipped in it.
Oh, love it.
I said that.
Clipping out.
We'll leave it there, guys. Leeds United progressed through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. We certainly done it the hard way. A performance that certainly won't live long in the memory. But the main thing is we won today and we're through to the next round. So we'll leave it there, guys. Mind yourselves. Mind each other. Catch you in the next one.